I've been a trauma and ER nurse for 14 years, and through the emergency department is where we see our victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. And we really saw a need within the military community that we were having patients present to us that were needing this very specific kind of care and evidence collection.
I was a crimes against persons detective from 97 to 2005 before I got promoted to sergeant and went to patrol. And I thought we could be doing more just where we were pulling up old reports and reviewing them. Just that wasn't really being done on a regular basis. I don't think we were really communicating that well. We weren't tracking the unsolved rapes like we should be. I thought a lot were slipping through the cracks. It would take over a year to get the results back from one test of one kit.
We really took a deeper dive into looking at the issue that we realized that we had untested sex assault kits that really needed to be submitted to the state crime lab for analysis. So the first steps were fairly daunting. I mean, we reached out to our property and evidence room just to figure out what the scope of the problem might look like. And that's when we realized we had a lot of cases that we could not necessarily account for. Between that and responses that we were receiving back from the state crime lab regarding DNA testing and their administrative processes, it was pretty obvious that we needed to look deeper into it.
And that was frustrating for us. I mean, we had a lot of kits we wanted to send off, we couldn't. We have sexual assault kits here going back to 1984. Unfortunately, our reporting system, our electronic reporting system, only goes back to 1992. Prior to that, we only have microfilm archives.
I think the first reaction is to put up their hands and build the wall because they don't want to be subject to criticism for not doing something that they should have done. And so the first thing is own it, accept it, figure out how you're going to make it better, and then move it forward.
But the grant has helped open our eyes to that and helped reveal some of the shortcomings we did have.
The biggest success right now is the fact that we applied for and received the SACI grant. We are, I think, well underway right now as to moving forward with putting the initiatives together so that we're not going to have to deal with this in the future. I mean, we are going to put systems in place to ensure that we're not talking about untested kits again because we won't have any.
Part of the grant is helping pay for getting all of those microfilm archives digitized. So we'll be able to easily view those reports and determine which kits need to be sent off for testing.
It's been great because we've been able to partner more with Fayetteville PD and with the initiative and really get a clear understanding, national standards, expectations, what's occurring in communities.
It pays for a cold case victim advocate, which works out of our local rape crisis. And as you can imagine, being a military community, a lot of our victims are out of state, but he stays on top of them also and gets them local resources, as far as counseling or therapy or anything they may need.
Because that is kind of the fruit of our labor, what we're doing with the DNA evidence collection in those kits. So to know that those kits are now going to make it to the lab and get those results back, it's very fulfilling for us as nurses to know that what we're putting in those boxes are actually going to make a difference.
The technology has evolved. Since then, even our state lab, we're getting quicker results back with our state lab, but even more so with the private labs we have access to. We have a whole lot quicker turnaround time. So we anticipate being able to solve a lot of these cases where it just wasn't possible back in the day.
And the process of the kit collection is so invasive, and the thought that these kits would just sit on shelves and discarded almost really, I think, said a lot to me. It resonated with how it would make a victim feel, and victims have already been victimized. They get victimized a multitude of times throughout the system, and this was one more time. And so it really became important to me, and it's really about showing our community and our victims that what they went through truly does matter.
For years, society has swept sex abuse and childhood sex abuse under the carpet. It was a taboo topic to talk about. And luckily, over the last few years, that has changed. It's coming more to the forefront.
But we had a great case about 4 years ago here at Fort Bragg where there was a tremendous amount of evidence, and our nurses, we actually had 2 nurses dedicated to the case. There was that much forensic evidence, and that case did go to court here at Fort Bragg, and it did actually yield a sentence of 20 years, which is a really large sentence within this community. So that was a very successful case that we actually participated in, and we've had several cases that have been very successful.
These cases, arrested somebody from 04, 05, 06, and the victim calls, she's like, thank you so much. Like, I've been waiting for this closure. Getting these old cases closed really means a lot.
They're all victims of all sexual assaults out there that happened in Fayetteville. That we didn't forget about you. We do care about what happened to you. It's important to us, and we're going to do our best to get you justice.